Hello everybody, and welcome back. I forgot to click the button. Okay, I was watching the mic level, if I'm honest. I don't know if my microphone's working properly again. I hope it is. I love watching the birds in town. Seems like they're always chirping. I wonder if they relate to each other too. I bet they have great airmail service. It'd be even better if we had some bird villagers in town. Pudge always watching the birds. Yeah, I don't know what happened yesterday with my microphone. I apologize that, like, for most of yesterday, my microphone was not good, to say the least. I don't know what happened with it. It just wasn't working, and then when I did get it working, everything about it was wrong. And because I can't hear myself while I record, I had no way of knowing that until I got to editing later, which, you know, totally wasn't frustrating as I was dead tired and just wanting to go to sleep. Where it's like, my microphone is stupidly quiet compared to what it should be. And that was not fun. Pudge! How's it going, little buddy? Drinking coffee is way funner than, drinking coffee here is way funner than doing it alone at home. That is fair. You kind of have to like interacting with people for it to be more fun drinking coffee at a coffee shop than drinking it at home. Especially if you have things to do at home that you can do at home. Like, I don't know, I would take a laptop to a coffee shop and play video games. You know, that kind of thing. You know. So, I mean, if all you're doing is drinking coffee, then yeah, I imagine going to a coffee shop could be pretty neat. You go to the coffee shop, you sit down, you know, maybe chat with some people around you. I don't know. I don't think I would do that. I'm not good at interacting with people, so, you know, a lot of the time I actively try to avoid it, if I'm honest, like if I'm out and about. Though equally a lot of the time people actively avoid me, so it kind of works out. It is always a little disheartening, but, you know, it happens. Trying to think of things to ramble about today. I think the only thing I could really talk about is I've been still playing at Monster Hunter. Like I've been playing at Monster Hunter World. Been back poking a bit at Generations as well. Generations is so fun. It also has like one of my favorite monsters in it, which is the one member of the Fated Four that have just never come back. And I really hope this monster makes it into Wilds. That monster being Gammoth. I get a lot of people don't much care for Gammoth. They think Gammoth is boring. But I personally think that they are just not using their heads much. So, okay. Let's do some context here. And I'm gonna use Animal Crossing for some rough scaling. So regular like Great Jaggy. Little taller than the player. Think of that. You know, you're a little taller than me, but it's a big lizard. So, you know, put me and Kryllos together here, and you've got a Great Jaggy. Melon, nice 10 get around the Sapphire Slice. Something up. It's the latest. Recently, I feel like the town's gotten a lot cleaner. Seems everyone's in the idea of making the town better. Yep, it is. It's literally because of that. If the ordinance wasn't in place, y'all would let this town fall to ruin. So, you know, that's a Great Jaggy. It's a big monster, but it's not like a really big monster. Then you get like a Rathalos. It's about as high off the ground as a tree is tall, and put, you know, a few trees together and you've got Rathlos. Pretty big. Gammoth would be bigger than retail. Some idea that makes Sapphire an even better place to live. I call it the Outdoor Chair Construction Initiative. Not that it's an official initiative or anything. Just hoping you'll consider an outdoor chair for the next public search project. You know, I'll definitely consider it. Could even probably put it by her house. I mean, she wants the chair, so I mean, we could put it by her house. Gives me something to spend bells on. Works out. But, yeah, like, I really like Gammoth, and Gammoth has just never returned. They've brought all, you know, 3 of the other Fated 4 back. We've had Mitsune, we've had, Astalos, we've had, Galivinus, but we have not had Gammoth. And I think Wilds would actually be the perfect game for Gammoth. Because, like, it's one of those monsters that, like, it just feels intense to fight. So having it be in the open world Monster Hunter game, you know, you're just cruising around in the snowy area and then, you know, just walking around, maybe saying hi to the popos, and then suddenly boss music starts playing, you know? I mean, that is kind of how it happens in Generations. Your first introduction to Gammoth is through a quest to hunt some popos, which are just, they're just some herbivores. So it doesn't seem like it would be a hard quest at all. And I mean, it's not a hard quest if you avoid the Gammoth that shows up the moment you start fighting the popos. I love Gammoth. It's also just a very simple design. Like it's a mammoth. It's a big mammoth. I suppose Gammoth has made a return in the Stories games, which I still need to play. I've not finished either of the games. I've barely started to, but I have, over the years, played at and gotten decently far in and then restarted the first Stories. So, because my first time playing it was through the lemon. And this lemon does not do the cutscenes very well. They're all muddy, like you're looking at them through lemon juice. It's, you know, it wasn't very good. So I was like, eh. Yeah, I was still having fun with the game, and it was still playable. It's just the cutscenes were a little, eh. So I was like, alright. I'll give it some time. And then I got an updated version of the lemon, and the cutscenes were better. You could more make out what was going on. But it still wasn't great. And then I discovered, oh hey, there's a version of it on the phone. So I just have it on the phone now. But I've still not played through it. Because anytime I'm playing games on the phone, I'm like, man, I could just play Azure Lane. Hey, can I hang out in your place today? Okay, it depends on when you want to do this, Loba. I'm good anytime. Why do you want 11:30? I mean, how about 11? No, I don't. I can't do it, my man. I gave you a perfectly reasonable solution here. Wahoo! Thought it was a mushroom, but it was a mush table. That felt like pretty decent Mario to me. Like I heard you're totally great at catching bugs. Need your help. A mole cricket. I can do my best. I haven't even heard one for a while. Alright, Joan. What is the damage this week? 100 bells. Okay. So, I could get out, like, How many letters do I have? I have 2 letters that I have space in. I could probably make space, but... I could get a 400,000 by 400 turnips. Probably wouldn't be so bad. I don't know where the 4th fossil is. If you guys see it anywhere, please let me know. It'll probably still be there. I don't know if they move or not. I'll definitely be taking another peek around as well, but... But yeah, like... I need to get back to the stories games. I do remember being really excited for Stories 2, because, like, I had been playing at Stories, and, like, I'd been really enjoying it. And Stories 2 has co-op quests, and it was like, ooh, that sounds like a lot of fun. And then the person I had to play it with got offended that I, on the way to unlocking co-op, was doing the RPG thing of doing side quests, and they weren't. And I somehow still got there as around the same time they did, so I was higher level than them, and then they just didn't want to play the game ever again. It's like, oh, okay. Like, all I did was do the side quests. I said I was gonna do the side quests. Yeah, it's a Monster Hunter game. You do all the quests. It's how they work. You're actively incentivized to play quests and then do quests over and over and over again. Like, that's how regular Monster Hunter works. Like... But yeah. So I never really got to play it much, because I didn't want to progress past that point in case the other person wanted to actually play the game again. But... joke's on me, I should have known they were never going to play the game again. Like, that's... I should have just known. But it's kind of like... I know there's so many, like, there's kind of like a meme of like, oh man, my toxic trait is this. Mine is almost certainly... I just put way too much faith in people and just hold out hope far longer than I really should. Like, I always try to see the good. And it's come back to bite me. I have literally had people tell me before that I am too nice for my own good, so that's always fun to hear. It's like, ah, yeah, you're literally too nice. You probably shouldn't be that nice. And it's like, but I like being nice. You know, I don't need blue pumps. I also don't need a geisha wig. Just gonna see if I can clear out some space here. I'm keeping the ice stuff. I like the ice stuff. I don't really need yellow rain boots or orange sandals. Okay. That'll let me clear out a few letters. I want to make sure I keep that one from Tia full, so I don't, like... Oh, I have 2 forest walls. Well, I can sell a forest wall, because I've got 2 of them now. I don't need 2 forest walls. I'm gonna have duplicates of the mushroom stuff, and I know it. Some of it makes sense to have duplicates of, like, you know, more than 1 chair. That makes sense. More than 1 wall, not so much. I mean, I'm never gonna use the wall anyway. I don't like the walls that are meant to, like, seem like the outside. I've never really liked those ones, because, like, they're not the outside. I don't think I would mind them as much if, like, they didn't still, like, if they covered up the windows. But, like, the fact that there's still windows, you know... It does kind of ruin any hope of immersion from the wall. But, you know, as much as I have been described as being too nice for my own good, I've also been described as being way too honest for my own good. In not as nice of terms. I won't use the exact nickname I was given, because it kind of goes against a bit of my language rules I have. But Honest Dick kind of gets the point across. You know, that was a nickname I was given in EVE Online, because I would be brutally honest with people. And a lot of the time, people didn't exactly appreciate that. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. That's what I want to do. That gives me enough to buy 600 turnips. Or 6,000 turnips. Yeah, that's me buy 600. 6,000 turnips. I think I said 100 earlier, too. I will need to put the money in letters till I have only 2 bags left. And I'm just gonna buy until I fill storage or run out of money. This may go horribly, but it also may not. So... But yeah, Man, I kind of miss EVE Online at times. It's more I miss, like, what I built. Because, like, EVE Online is a big sandbox. Like, it's literally what you make it, kind of thing. And if you and a bunch of other players share a similar vision, you work together and you make that vision a reality. That's EVE Online. It's also been called Assholes in Space for good reason. It is a game that actively encourages you to scam your fellow players. It's a game that actively encourages you to be just a horrible person, but only in the context of the game. Like, that is something that is wholly understood by everybody. Like, even some of the biggest jerks in the game, if you were to meet them face to face, they'd probably be really just nice people. I feel like EVE Online is one of those games for nice people to vent by being a jerk. But yeah, in EVE Online, it being an MMO, there are guilds. Guilds in there called corporations. And corporations can group together and become an alliance. So basically, players group together into a corporation, corporations group together into an alliance. And the corporation I had joined was actually because a friend that got me into the game was in it. I had joined it. They stopped playing. The former leader stopped playing. It got handed off to somebody else who was running it for a while and then basically decided they were done with it, and just, rather than seeing if anyone else wanted to run it, just handed the leadership position back to the old leader who's no longer playing the game. So I tried to get in contact with the old leader any way I could, and just couldn't. So I then petitioned the game developers to be like, so hey, old CEO of the corp isn't active. He just isn't around anymore. Is there any way I could be in charge? And basically the idea was, okay, I will go through the effort of getting this back. And then there was a few of us still active, so it was a case of like, then if anyone else wants it, they can have it. Otherwise, like, I guess I'll be in charge. And, basically, what ended up happening was the former leader came back temporarily, because I'm guessing either he got finally in contact... He basically either finally got contacted by the friend, or just got contacted by the game developers or something. And he was like, alright, so who should I give leadership to? And effectively, I didn't so much step forward as it was everyone else took a step back, and I ended up in charge of it. I was like 16 at the time. 15, 16. Way too young to be leading a group of definitely adults. Like, they were all definitely more knowledgeable people than I was, but when they all took the step back, I was put in charge. And I figure, okay, y'all are putting me in charge of this. I'm gonna run it. I'm gonna do everything I can to build this up as good as I can make it. So my literal first step was, alright, corporation has no money. I'm gonna put a bunch of my own money into it. Like, it's gonna put a bunch of my money into it. I'm gonna open up some corp offices, get us a few bases of operation around the game world. Because a corp office has what are called corp hangars, which are basically inventories for the corporation. So you can share stuff between each other. Like, you're no longer just locked to your own what you've got. You can share things with fellow corp mates, which is nice. And then, because I did a lot of PvE stuff, I had a lot of generic gear. The gear came in various levels, and there was one level that was better than the others for the non-tier 2 stuff. Because it basically went tier 1, then tier 1 meta, which had, like, the 4 different levels. So it was meta 1, meta 2, meta 3, meta 4. You always wanted meta 4. And then there was the tier 2, which was technically meta 5, but it has a little T2 on it. So I basically then started supplying the corporation with just a bunch of free Meta 4 stuff for anyone that wanted it. If there wasn't Meta 4 of something, I supplied the Tier 1 version, because this is still EVE Online. I'm not going to invest that much money into something anyone could just come along and steal. All of that stuff was stolen a few times because of what I then did next, which was I opened up a recruitment application, or a recruitment advert for the corp, accepting literally anybody that applied. If you applied, welcome to the corporation. Was that a smart thing to do? It grew the corp. Like, that's literally what I was looking at. Like, will this grow the corporation? If yes, I'm doing it. If no... Wait, I think the pedal paper is special. I don't remember, though. Okay. Quick trip to retail, sell these, and then buy the final set of 1,000 from Joan. But, like, I went through all that. Ended up, at the end of a couple of years of doing that, building the corporation from 3 members to, like, I think we had like 50, 60 members. Like, we were pretty big for an independent corporation. Around that time, we hit the point of, okay, everyone needs to be making more money. How you make more money is you move to the lower security space. We had been in high security space, which is the safe space of the game. You're never safe. The only way to be safe is to just never undock into space. So it's like, okay, we need a home. So rather than putting all the eggs in one basket, I was like, okay, let's go 2 routes. At the time, there was a segment of null security space called Providence that was owned by basically a group of NRDS players, not Red Don't Shoot. Basically meaning it was null security space anybody could use as long as you weren't a jerk. Basically player enforced high security space. It's pretty nice. It had its problems, because the problem with Not Red Don't Shoot is, well, someone who has not read yet but has red intentions, they're gonna just be able to pick an easy target. It led to a lot of ground rules of don't fly anything big, make sure no matter what you're doing that you're doing it safely. If there's ever a neutral in local, be very cautious of them. You know. But also at the same time, I found a little low security corridor that seemed pretty nice to move into, had some decent moons in it that we could use for moon mining, setting up reactions. It was pretty empty, it was pretty safe. It wasn't as safe as Providence, but it was safe enough for us, and if enough of us had moved, it would have been probably pretty much a stronghold. There was only a couple of us that went to low security. Most people went to Providence. I went back and forth. Because I'm the leader, I have to be where everyone is. You know, I can't just leave everyone to their own devices and expect them to stay in the corp. You know. So I would be jumping around everywhere, doing everything. Quite often, I would be doing so much to help everyone else that my own game time would expire, and I would have to, like, ask around for help getting game time. Because, like, there used to be, and it's not a thing anymore because it's not needed anymore, a thing where you could basically ask a GM and be like, so hey, I have a way of getting enough in-game currency to buy game time. Like, you know, I have someone offering to just give me some ISK to buy some game time. Could I have, like, an hour of game time to do this? And they'd be like, yeah, cool. You know, like, that's just what they would be like. So I would be asking around, and then people would help fund my game time. I'd pay them back, and that would be, you know, that'd often be how I got back in game. Because I spent so much of my time and money helping everybody else. After we were in Providence for probably about 6 months, we started getting courted by various alliances to join them. One of them, Surveillance, I regret having not gone through the effort and trying to diplomat my way into joining because they seemed like genuinely good people who wanted us purely because we were there, being helpful. I had contacts with multiple of their higher-ups, like, I probably had better contacts with Surveillance than the alliance that we ultimately ended up joining did. Joining this alliance made those contacts very unhappy. Because they weren't a fan of this alliance I joined. I joined this alliance because one of the people I had recruited early on, who later became a director for me, which is like second in command, really wanted us to join this alliance. And I figure, okay, this other alliance has like no rules for us joining. Surveillance had a lot of things they wanted. Need to talk to you. Been reading a book recently about interior design. Got creative juices flowing. My place looks just as stylish as the ones in the book. I need more furniture. I will see if I can find anything. Currently looking for a mole cricket. But like, Surveillance, the one deal breaker for joining Surveillance was they wanted us to just join one of their corporations that they already had, rather than bring our corporation into their alliance. And I'd been building my corporation for so long, I was kind of attached to it. I didn't want to give it up. So that was one of the big deal breakers. We probably could have found some workaround, like, even if that was, like, bringing on the leader of one of their other corporations as a director, or, you know, maybe, I don't know if I would have given up control, like, direct control. But, you know, there probably could have been some workaround. This other alliance had no such quandaries like that. It was just like, hey, we need members, we need you to join. They basically wanted my corporation to join their alliance so that it would be more expensive for other alliances and corporations to declare war on them. That's what they were looking at. They weren't looking at us as, oh, this is a valuable thing. They were looking at my corporation as a safety net to help protect them, because us joining boosted their numbers by like 80%. Like, it was something ludicrous like that before they started really bringing on more and more corporations, which became easier with them having more members, being able to, you know, make shows of power. You can probably guess where this is going, given all the context I've given of how the game works and all that. Flash forward about a year of working with them, and they absolutely stabbed me in the back because I very much was a vocal opponent of a lot of the things that the leadership of this alliance was trying to do. To the point where I was never actually brought into the upper levels of the leadership, even though I was probably the most active leader in the entire alliance. So basically, they ended up poaching my directors. And with my directors went most of the members. Because they'd been going around in fleet chats that I wouldn't be a part of because I would be off doing other things, helping other people. They were basically going around spreading that they were doing everything and that they were really the ones running the show and all this stuff, and basically everybody left with them. My corporation got ejected into the middle of Providence with what this alliance thought was no contacts. Partially because I told them, yeah, I have no contacts, so you've just completely screwed us all over in the attempt to try to make them feel bad, basically. I had contacts. I had contacts in all of the major alliances in the area. We got out, no problem. Had multiple invites to move the remaining few people who were loyal to me to other alliances. I was just done with Providence. I was honestly, at that point, unbeknownst to my thoughts at the time, I was mentally checked out of the game. That's what that kind of a betrayal does to you in EVE. Like, it's hard to explain to anybody who's never played EVE Online. But there's a running joke in the game, in the game's community, and undoubtedly in the game itself, that the only reason it's called EVE Online was Second Life was already taken. Like, it feels real. It becomes your life when you really devote yourself to it. Like, these people you meet, you become good friends with. You know, you go through hell with these people, depending on what you do. And then to have the people that you trusted the most stab you in the back really hurts. And I don't think I've ever quite recovered from that on a trust level of, like, I've played other MMOs, and I've basically gotten to the point where, like, I only join a guild when I am asked to join, and I refuse to take any level of leadership, because I don't want that trust put on me, and I also don't even want to be the one in charge of recruiting anybody, because there's a mole cricket. Okay, where is my bug net? Right to the right. There we go. Mole cricket acquired. Now to find Bella and give her a mole cricket. And, like, I have a lot of good memories of EVE Online. But it is very much also a case of... Oh, hey, it's Bella. So I ate some gingerbread earlier, and I'm way too hyper. How can I slow down? Run until you're tired. What a great idea. I'll just keep running until I'll throw some of this, and happy dance, and woo-woo! Yeah! I got your bug. There you go. Mole cricket. The cricket of moles. Yay, my bug! You really did go and catch it for me. Yeah, I did. Hey, your reward. I can't forget to give it to you. What we get? A shirt. I figured you really like an after-school jacket. I've had like 5 of those. I don't think I've talked with Fuchsia yet today. Come on, Bella, don't be so stubborn. You should... Okay, they're talking. I forget it. It's ridiculous. Why should I have to apologize? Bella, this attitude isn't helping anything. They don't want to apologize either, but if you give it a bit, you've got a chance to sort this out. What? I can't believe you act like it's all my fault or something. What is going on? No fighting. What is going on? Who are you apologizing to? What? Yeah, how old is Fuchsia? So what's going on? Is this part of your black market dealings or something, Fuchsia? Are you... Hold on. Hold on a minute. Fuchsia is up to where the... I'm just... It's too big for me to get involved with. I'm just going. It's clearly connected to some of the shady stuff Fuchsia's been up to. Clearly she's gotten Bella involved now. It's too big for me to deal with. I don't want to get roped into all that. But yeah, it's a thing where, like, psychologically, humans, like, if you go through, like, the run of a day, or you go through an entire month, let's say, and, like, every day of that month, you're treated to nothing but positivity, hugs, and then randomly, like, 3/4 of the way through the month, it's nothing but people being nasty, mean, you know, slap in the face kind of thing. But then the rest of the month is all happy again. You will associate that entire month with that one day of negativity. That's just how the human brain works. We remember the slap better than we remember the hug. Like, it's really annoying, but that is just how the human brain works. So, like, as much as I have a lot of fun memories of Eve, and, like, there are so many stories I could tell of, like, even just being in Providence and, like, organizing a group of, like, complete Care Bears into a combat fleet of mining barges because there was a red nearby, and that sure beats sitting in stations. So come on, guys, let's, you know, grab your mining barges, I'll be the tackle, let's go get him, you know, let's go fight him, let's go give him a good fight, let's go chase him out. And it worked. We did it. Like, and, like, there apparently is something to being able to organize people in Eve and it being a good manager in real life if you're a good FC or a good CEO in Eve. So I guess I'd probably make a decent manager because I'm willing to call out BS from the higher-ups and stand up for the people in the lower echelons, and, you know. Because that's basically what got me ostracized from the Alliance, was I did not like a lot of the decisions the upper leadership was making. The biggest thing I didn't like was I had made mention that they basically brought us in to avoid being declared war on, because it made it more expensive, thus made it less likely that they would just get, you know, random wars declared on them from small PvP groups that just wanted to troll them. Hey, it's the fossil. I knew if I wandered around enough I'd find it. Well, they had an ally, apparently, that I'd never heard of. It was some former corporation that had been part of the Alliance, who got war decked by a solo PvPer, who basically had their own corporation for war decking people with. Now, this was a very, very experienced solo PvPer. We could tell that just by looking at their kill board. So they decide, well, hey, our former corp member of our alliance is, you know, they're being war decked. We've got to go help them. So they just brought us into this war without even consulting all of the leadership. At this point in time, a good half of my corporation were in high-sec, doing high-sec stuff, because they didn't need to be in null all the time. So that basically meant a good half of my corporation had to be extremely vigilant anytime they were playing the game in high-sec, because now we're at war to go and help this, you know, this small corporation against a single person. You might think, big alliance coming in to help one person, we'd win that war deck, no problem. We'd kick this person's butt and... No. No, because that's the thing with solo PvPers, especially really good ones. They know what they're doing. The only time we ever caught them in a fight was when they knew they could win. They wouldn't take a fight if they knew they couldn't win. They would just leave. Because they can. It's high sec. You can't put up warp bubbles. You have to catch the person. You know, you have to hit them with a warp disruptor, which requires finding them, getting close to them, getting a target lock, and then applying the warp disruptor, which requires them to let you do it, basically, if they know what they're doing. I was the one that got the closest to doing anything to stop them, and that was by organizing a small logistics wing to kick around the area where they were prowling around looking for people to basically rush in and save people instead of, you know. And even then, they just left for a while. Leading to the only time I was in combat against them of I had a solo logistics, they caught my Logi ship, I kept myself alive long enough for help to show up. And help was only nearby enough to show up because I had been organizing it. Like, the rest of the upper leadership didn't give much of a crap, which led to that war deck, Warped Intentions, the alliance that I was a part of, that no longer exists, and that is a very cathartic thing. They got their asses handed to them and annihilated. They lost something like 13.8 billion ISK worth of assets to destroy 100,000 ISK worth of assets. They lost that war deck hard. Like, and I was telling them the whole time it was gonna happen. We need to pull out of this. We don't belong here. This is stupid. But no, everything's gonna be fine. It's like, okay, yeah, okay, guys. And I didn't let them forget that either, because I'm that kind of person. If you're gonna tell me, nah, we got this, and then massively fall on your face and fail, I'm not gonna let you forget that, especially when it impacts people that I care about. You know, I cared about my corp members. I wanted to make sure they had the most fun, enjoyable time they could have in the big old sandbox of Eve. Wow, I just rambled about this for like 30 minutes. I really feel like I should reinstall that game at some point. But also, like, anytime I think of going back, there's just so many changes have happened that I just don't agree with. But yeah, that's going to be it for this one. I thank you all very much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you back here tomorrow for more Animal Crossing New Leaf Welcome Amiibo. See you all then. And now in this end card, I would like to ask, if you liked the video, could you smash that like button? And hey, if you're not subscribed, the button's right down there. If you click it, it helps me out a fair bit. That'd be pretty nice. Thanks a bunch.